After that, we will close my city in the best way possible, talking about the beauty industry. So we are starting a debate on cosmetic ingredients that are sustainable and organic. So we have here with us the amazing Stephane Lacoutière, Global Marketing Director at Cargill Beauty. Welcome. Stephane has been working as marketing for B2B, B2C, so a lot of experience in customer studies, right? To know what customers are looking for to develop their own products. We have Levent Piker, I hope I'm not saying the name is wrong, that's right. CEO and co-owner of Ocean Bases in Germany. We have the amazing St Pierre, CEO of DCP dermosciences from Canada. And today I will launch some questions on the cosmetics ingredients and how can we make this industry more sustainable. So I'll just start with the first question. I would like to open the questions to all of you to give your opinion on that, so we can debate on that. So first of all, why should we develop more natural and sustainable ingredients for the beauty industry? More or less, why is it important? More specific, so more or less 2 questions. Why is it important to use such natural organic ingredients in the skincare, more specifically? Maud.
Well, thank you, Anna. Yes, nowadays the beauty industry is widely changing to natural beauty. It keeps growing every year, and just so you know, the last year in 2017, the natural beauty cosmetic sales went up of 9%, which is the double of the amount of the usual mass skincare product. Regarding the impacts of the ingredients and the environment when using non-natural and non-sustainable ingredients, is something that really needs to be addressed soon, as we will more and more discover. So cosmetics are products applied to the body for the purpose of beautifying, cleansing, or improving appearance. The concept of beauty and cosmetics is as old as mankind and civilization. Most of us now know that our beauty habits might be hurting the environment and ourselves. Most unnatural cosmetic products contain hazardous chemicals. The bioaccumulation of these harmful chemicals in the body over time has been associated with cancer, reproductive and development disorders, dermatitis, hair loss, lung damage, aging, skin disease and reaction, and as the one that you see most will be allergic reaction as well. The chemical components of many products don't break down and instead accumulate in our ecosystems. Cosmetic and personal care products do their most damage to their environment after they wash down our sinks and sits in our ocean, destroying marine life and ecosystems. When unsustainable methods are used, non-renewable natural resources are depleted and ecosystems are disrupted. Way too much cosmetics use silicones. They can be found in almost any kind of product available on the market that are unnatural. And often also silicones are used in big amounts and are the key ingredient of way too much of product, if you ask me. But just think about this. Silicone is almost like liquid plastic. Do you want liquid plastic on you, in our oceans, and on Earth? So when buying unnatural cosmetic, please think about this, because the use of your beauty product can really damage your health and the environment. Regarding the natural and sustainable beauty industry in humans and environment, we are at the opposite. Nowadays, the customer is more educated and aware, so the demand for natural ingredient has tremendously increased. People are turning back to nature and the benefit of natural ingredients, and finally, with the wellness trend, we are coming back to our natural roots. Our skin is like a sponge, absorbing about 60% about what we put on it. That's why it's so important to stick with natural products for ourselves and the environment. Good for us, the natural health beauty grew 9% last year. Natural ingredients and products are often sustainable, thus better for the environment and us. And good news, the cosmetic industry is doing fairly well on the sustainability side. When ingredients and products are chosen wisely among the natural category, there is no impact on the health of the user, and if sustainable, there is also no impact on the environment. Our skin should be given the utmost care and attention. One way of doing this is using natural skincare product, so no doubt it's hip to be natural.
We got a side on the impacts of more the environment and humans. You want to explore another side of the importance of the use of sustainable ingredients in the skincare and mostly on the beauty industry also.
Yeah, first of all, I agreed to Maud in almost all aspects. No, in all aspects.
Thank you.
And yeah, I would answer the question maybe from another perspective. So if we look to the mega trends today, we can see that prevention and protection against diseases are quite important today. So the customers need really a functional and natural solution for this. So it is clear that the marine organisms have very good solutions for that because they had time, much more time than the terrestrial organisms to adapt to special conditions that are similar to those in our bodies. So, for example, seaweed and the surface of the seaweed are directly exposed to the water, and in the water are a lot of bacteria and viruses, and they are exposed to other stress. So these organisms had to protect themselves against those attacks from organisms, against food and predators and bacteria and viruses and diseases. So as a natural scientist, I can see that there is a real direct connection between those interesting mechanisms that had been evolved during the evolution over the millions of years, and a direct connection to those mechanisms that happens in our body. So it's very interesting to use these functions and to transfer the research results we get from those busy with the natural product activities, and we transfer it to a solution for the skincare. So just to name an example, so for example we have been engaged in projects in antiviral, antibacterial activities, but also we are measuring antioxidative activities in seaweed extracts, for example. And it's very interesting. Of course, we are not able to claim these activities, as you all know, but in the end, we have an idea of how these compounds are acting and functioning in the human body. For example, by gene expression analysis, so we know how a human cell reacts to those compounds, and we can somehow translate these activities also to the skin cells, for example. We are really happy to have a connection to universities with which we are making research. And for example, fluorotenines and terpenes and other compounds in the secondary metabolites in the seaweed, they are quite interesting to show natural functionalities that are really helpful in skincare. So we can use this functions and try to develop new products, and so for the benefit of the customers. But these products are not only objects; they are also, they transport emotions and information. So we can use these products to sensitize the customers to the marine ecosystem, that and can serve as ambassadors, so to say, for the sustainable use of the seas. So we can explain them the functionality of the compounds a little bit. We can explain the marine ecosystem. So we bring our customers closer to the marine ecosystem and sensitize them for the actual problems. So maybe we can discuss this a little bit later about sustainability and how to make this industry, this natural industry, sustainable.
How to do it be further away. And putting up on that and building on what Maud also said, so there is a growing availability of technology to explore also those components, and there is the growing awareness of this impact in the environment and in the impacts in humans. And then I think, Stephane, you can follow up on this, understanding the trends that the consumers are also looking for.
Sure. So we believe that it all starts with consumers. So when you look at personal care consumers, we call them the green ethic consumers at Cargill Beauty, so green and ethical consumers. And what are they have some very specific expectations. Expectations that are different from the usual, let's say, consumer. So of course they care about safety, definitely. They care about themselves, but they also care about others. They care about animals. They care about the planet, like Maud was saying. They care about animal welfare. They want natural products, but not only natural. They want natural and sustainable products. And they want products that are, let's say, or ingredients in their products that are useful. They want to understand what is the utility of every of their, let's say, ingredients in their cosmetic products. So they want transparency on their ingredients, traceability, and on top of this, they want the brands, the cosmetic brands, so the L'Oréal, the Dove, and others. They want the brand to commit and to engage themselves. They want the brands to be authentic, to be honest with what they are doing. So, in a nutshell, those green ethic consumers have very, very specific expectations. Yesterday, they were niche consumers, so the market was very small. It's growing very fast, as you said. Now, let's say it really the premium, let's say the premium buyers or the millenniums are really the one that are interested into those cosmetics. And we believe at Cargill Beauty that these consumers will become mainstream in the next 3 to 5 years. So very soon. Let's say all personal care brands will need to, let's say, answer those green ethic consumer needs with their products on their shelves. So they need to start now discussing with us, suppliers of ingredients, to build their new formulations of tomorrow. Just to go one little further, so to better understand these green ethic consumers, we conducted some specific quantitative studies at Cargill Beauty, and we identified 6 profiles of those consumers. So of course I could go in more details if you're interested, but out of those 6 profiles, 2 profiles are already green ethic consumers today, and they want, in fact, they want a positive impact on the planet or a positive impact on people, and they are engaged themselves. Whereas the new natural, let's say the future green ethic consumers, they expect more the brands to engage for themselves, and they are caring more about having no impact on the environment or no impact on the people. So let's say we have very, very different consumers, 6 different profiles with different expectations, and the brands of tomorrow will need to answer those different, let's say, expectations.
Yes, of course. And also on the part, I would like to ask Maud also to a bit on that, on the part of the cosmeceuticals, because people are not only looking for sustainable, organic, natural products, they want the products to do something for their skin, not only at that moment, but further ahead in their life, right?
Yes, exactly. We see nowadays as well, well, it's been there for a while, but it's more now in trend. The new family of cosmeceuticals, basically. You can explain the cosmeceutical as a merger between cosmetics and pharmaceuticals. As an example, cosmetics can refresh your skin for a few hours, but are unable of real structural changes. Therefore, they won't help the future because they're unable of the structural changes. And then you have the pharmaceuticals, who are really pinpointed product serving one solution, let's say as an acne product. So they're looking into one thing, they're precise, you can say like a medication basically. So they will take care, let's say, of acne problem, but then the rest is kind of left alone. But the cosmeceutical are, according to me, the best product you can buy, because you can buy them on the shelves as well. You don't need a dermatologist or anything, though you can find cosmeceutical at dermatologist office as well. The cosmeceutical are great, especially the natural one, of course. I preach for my own. And basically, the cosmeceutical are able to penetrate the skin up to the derm, and also have more active ingredients in them, therefore are being able to solve past problems and to help to get a better result with anti-aging for your future. Because when you actually buy a product, let's say you buy an anti-aging product, and then you use it like a let's say a mass market basic cosmetic for anti-aging. If you don't see results right now, why do you think you'll look better in 20 years? It won't happen. So you need, with cosmeceuticals, you have more tangible results. And when you see that you are having result today using them, well, then you can make sure that in 20 years from now, you will have achieved anti-aging results.
Sorry. And that also increases the need for the brands to develop this kind of products. It's more challenging for the industry to keep up with the trends of the new needs of the consumers that they're looking for, healthier, sustainable, all of that in the cosmeceuticals, which are more complex products. And I would like to launch the next question, which is like, this is a challenge for companies. So I think it's important for people to understand, okay, we know what are natural products, we know what are organic products, but what are the key steps in a company that you need to have to guarantee that you actually have natural products and to have all these natural ingredients, and maybe speak out on some challenge, the main challenges, basically because they're more expensive usually in the market. So there's a reason why they are expensive, and there's a whole process that you need to guarantee for the final product to be what you really want in this kind of market, right?
Exactly. I will, ingredients-wise, let our friend here respond. As I'm not an ingredient manufacturer, I just buy ingredients and use them to formulate cosmeceuticals. Yes, you are very true, Anna. Actually, the demands for natural beauty product just keeps increasing. And as this demand keeps increasing for the amazing natural resources that continues to climb, well, we actually find ourselves at the intersection of ingredient sustainability, supply and demand, and cost, of course. While natural ingredients are amazing, they are also subject to Mother Nature. This include the climate change, poor crop condition, weather condition, and often more demand than can be reasonably supplied. This demand for natural ingredients leads to important issues like sustainability, quality, and cost. As a manufacturer, when choosing natural ingredients, we need proof and performance and technical information to choose the right ingredients for the product we actually want to formulate. So with more demand for natural, and the fact that supply is restricted but what is able to grow and harvested, expenses to prove the effectiveness of these natural ingredients like clinical studies and things like that, it's no surprise that we see an increase in cost. Unfortunately, also, the government bodies haven't established a regulatory definition of the natural cosmetic labeling. So it is up, I think, personally, that it's up to us to choose wisely, and up to you to give us the right ingredients. So with responsible habits and education, customers have the power to minimize the pollution caused by the cosmetic industry. So I hope for the future that we see more and more education basically on what is good as beauty product and just not see this world of, because cosmetic is a big part of everybody's everyday life. So it's really time to choose wisely to help the environment and its sustainability side to thrive.
So on the part of more on the ingredients themselves, the harvesting and everything, so there also need to be kind of a control, and how do we do this in the natural ingredients?
Yeah, I'm happy that you are expressing your demand so clearly. So forgive me that I have to answer your demand a little bit skeptical at the recent status of our undertaking and entrepreneurship to harvest and to cultivate seaweed and to make seaweed extract from it. We know that the basis of our business is a good supply chain of raw material, and so the basis for this is a clean marine ecosystem and biodiversity, high biodiversity. So we have to take care and have to take care of the raw materials. Where do they come from, and so on and so on. But the situation is that we as humans we have made not really progress in this. So because if we look to the example of overfishing, there is a lack of a proper resource management. So how could we expect then to manage the seaweed resources properly? So there is a study that said recently that we could have harvested or fishing 57% more fish if it would be managed in a better way. So we are in the very beginning state of learning of how to manage marine resources smartly, far away of being a blue engineer. So the aquaculture concept today, for example, is shadow-brained and short-sighted. Here we are making the same mistakes that we are made in the agriculture on land. For example, by inefficient energy balances and pollution and overexploitation. So there is much space of improvement. Another example is the lack of definition what is sustainable at all. And so, for example, when we are harvesting from wild stocks, we have to determine a little bit more the optimum yield, or what are the problems, and we have to look at every single harvesting area. So it needs to be established a scientifically based and evidence-based method of how to sample and how to harvest, and we need a monitoring scheme that has to be installed to follow up the development of the wild population. So another measure would be to be more efficient in the use of energy and material, so like other industries has to do. for example, by an intelligent cascade utilization of the raw material. And we have also looked to foster a little bit more the use of renewable energies. So it's and recycling and reusing solvents, for example, if we are extracting seaweed. So there is a lot of interesting measures we have to do and a lot of improvement to make. And one certain point is crucial for me to define a little bit more the sustainability. So there are methods how we can define this by, for example, measuring the carbon footprint. So there is the greenhouse gas protocol, for example, and we made this for one seaweed extract in our house at Ocean Bases, and it was quite laborious, of course, and there's much effort to do that. But in the end, we were a little bit ashamed of the numbers we get because it was not so sustainable as we thought. But in the end, we had the numbers and we had the key to change things and to make it better. And the customers are able to compare. So your point was very interesting, to make it transparent. So how sustainable is really the use of seaweed and how sustainable are our extracts? So we need really scientifically based measurable results for this.
Yeah, so throughout the supply chain you have different pinpoints that you can control to guarantee that. Yeah, Stephane, I think it's interesting to know what Cargill is doing in a company to guarantee the sustainability, because Cargill is very based on sustainability, the whole supply chain. So what do you do and how do you control this?
So we saw that those greenetic consumers, they have some very specific expectations in terms of products. So what do they want? They want simple products having with emotional benefits associated to those products. And how do you do this? Because that's the question. And what kind of ingredients can you use to do this? We believe you need to completely reinvent the way you do formulations. So you need to start from zero again. Start from natural and sustainable ingredients, of course, from seaweed or from Cargill. and then you recreate some what we call a system. So a system is based on, for example, 3 core ingredients. So in the case of a skincare cream, for example, it's what? It's a bio-fermented texturizer. It's lecithin extracted from soy plus rapeseed oil, basically. And with these 3 ingredients, you can create what we call a core of the formulation. And in fact, this system, if you do this by using the right ingredients, it will be safe, okay, simple, 3 ingredients, versatile, affordable, important, because we will have the affordability if we use co-products or products from, let's say, the food industry, like we are doing at Cargill. It will be, of course, nature-derived and sustainable on top of this. So basically, it will answer all those, let's say, consumer expectations. So we designed what we call the System 1.0 for skincare at Cargill Beauty. And on top of those 3 ingredients, we added a carrageenan, which is an extract from red seaweed, where we have sustainable programs in place in the tropic areas, in Tanzania, for example. And from these 4 ingredients, we created some textures. So you have here, for example, a serum, which is called aquamarine serum, so with carrageenan inside. And we do a positioning of the product. So we say, okay, this product, of course, is very simple. You understood, only 4 ingredients inside. But then we say it will do good to my skin, yes, and to the planet. Why? Because it has a positive impact on people in, let's say, the red seaweed sector.
Okay, so it's also important to show the branding of the products in that sense, as you're saying. It's more positioning the products in that kind of sector to...
Exactly. So you have to demonstrate, you were saying, I mean, you have to demonstrate that your product is natural and sustainable. So the idea there is to have a little flash code. So digitalization will help. So if you flash the product, you can go back all the way to the farmers and see where your product is coming from, who are the farmers behind the products, why is it beneficial to people or to planet, why is it safe. So by doing this, you increase the transparency. Of course, you need traceability to this, but you increase the transparency, and then you increase what? You increase trust. You increase trust at the consumer level. And this is what the big brands are lacking today, really, is to regain trust at their consumers.
Yeah, and that the traceability always has to do with the connection between the actors in the supply chain, which is really important for that part, so increase also the connection. Yeah. I would like also to open for the public to contribute with questions to our panelists here.
Hello, my name is João Navalho. I'm a microalgae producer, and sometimes I used to assist at conferences like this one. It feels like we are in different worlds, because for one side, when we hear you people, we see the world, it's blue world, we are very nice people, we do everything like in the books, but then we go home and we look at the newspapers, and then we know that cosmetic industry is living on palm oil. Palm oil is destroying a big part of our planet, and people don't care. People just care about the price to maintain the business margins. And we are just killing rainforest to have cheap soap. That don't make any sense. And we hear the big corporation keep talking the same. We are very sustainable. We think in the future. We think in this, and we think in that. And I wonder why. Because there are a lot of raw materials available, more expensive, much more sustainable. Why don't you people start to use it? And why don't you people say, we don't want palm oil, we don't put plastic bags in our cosmetics, because that plastic bags we put in the cosmetics go to the sea, go to our food chains, they are bad for us. Why don't you people stop now? Thank you.
Well, it also depends on the people. That's why when I'm saying it is up to us to choose wisely, that demands of you to read the labels of the packaging and read every ingredient. And it's very easy to see palm oil. As us at DCP Dermosciences, I've never ever used palm oil. And if you want to pinpoint palm oil, well, blame Nutella, because it's way more used actually in the food industry than in the cosmetic industry. Of course, not everybody is able to read labels, as some names might be very complicated, or especially when it is synthetic ingredients, it's even more complicated. So if you don't have all the skills to be able to choose wisely, you basically can look a little at the label, and if you cannot even read a word before looking at it like 4 or 5 times, it must be synthetic. So that's an idea. And then you are also able to choose, is this product as a box? Does it has a leaflet? Does it come in plastic bag? You can choose all that. You can also say, no, thank you, I can put it in my pocket or my purse. So that's why I say it's up to us. We can just do sustainable ingredients, sustainable cosmetics, but in the end, people have to learn to buy the right ones.
Maybe when coming from my side, you're right, with more transparency on the product, you'll be able to choose the right product if you want to protect the environment or the animals or the planet, whatever. Regarding palm oil, it's interesting because maybe you don't know, but more than 50% of the cosmetic products today contains palm oil. So it's really a challenge for the cosmetic manufacturers, for the brands, to switch from out of palm oil, for example. So of course we offer alternatives, but they are challenging, it takes times. And on the other side, we also, let's say, make sure that tomorrow the palm oil will be more sustainable than it is today. And for example, at Cargill, we have a zero deforestation, let's say, policy on palm oil by 2030. So things are moving on, definitely in the right direction, but it takes a bit of time.
And also as an ingredient buyer for the cosmetic industry, basically, you can buy basic palm oil or sustainable palm oil. You have both. So again, it is you have to choose the right brand that is transparent, like you're saying, and that goes along with sustainability.
Have another question there?
Hi, I'm Adi Amijaya. I'm just a scientist, not an expert in cosmetic or anything like that. But regarding emotional attachment to products and safety, I was just wondering, are you still testing cosmetic products on animals for safety? It's illegal nowadays.
No, I mean, we are producing both. We are a manufacturer of active ingredients and our own cosmetic line, Ocean Well. And no, we are not testing on animals. So, and we decided to go back to export to China because they have to test the products on animals. So we decided to reject and to stop the export because of this.
Okay, and with the biomaterials that are you using in your cosmetic, I mean, how do you know it's safer than the current product? Is it because that you are testing it the same way as the?
So the question is about the safety of our ingredients, right?
Yes.
Or the
yes.
safety of the cosmetic products?
No, the safety of, yeah, well, it's both related, of course.
Okay. So in fact, we test both. Huh? So Maud could mention that, okay, cosmetic products are tested.
Yes.
For example, every time a product is launched on the market, you have most of the time a clinical test that is done to evaluate the dermatologic, let's say, effect of the product. So there are some, let's say, must-have in cosmetic products when you want to put it on the market. On the ingredient side, also we do testing to make sure our ingredients are safe. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, I don't know if you have any more questions. No? Okay, you can also interact with them, catch them before they leave. And please enjoy the last minutes of My Blue City, okay? Thank you so much for everyone. Thank you. And thank you to the panelists, of course.